Yesterday, season 1 of Moon Knight came to a close, so today we're going to stop and rank all 6 episodes of Moon Knight from the worst to the best. Hi, my name is Sean, and I love to talk about movies and TV way too much. With that in mind, go ahead and join me down below in the comment section. Share your ranking of all 6 episodes of Moon Knight. Given the nature of this video, it's gonna be jam-packed with spoilers. If you haven't watched Moon Knight yet, don't watch this video yet. I still want you to watch it. With that said, let's get started. In last place, episode 3, The Friendly Type. Now, by no means was this a bad episode. It was just my least favorite that seemed to kind of lose a little bit of the intrigue and the energy for me. Now, there's a lot of great stuff in here. It kind of gets the globe-trotting of the show going where we head off to Egypt. It kind of expands the mythology and what's kind of going on with the story. We have this council of avatars kind of trying to decide what to do. You do get some action in the mix. But I think because a big thing about this episode is it kind of flips the script a little bit and Mark takes center stage, it just felt like I lost the momentum of what was taking place because they'd used Steven so much as the point of reference character that we were following, that we were connected to. He was the one that was kind of us in the story that was learning what was going on. And so then when you get to episode 3 and it flips that a little bit, it just kind of lost some of the energy because I was on that journey with Steven and now I'm with this other guy that already knows what's going on. And likewise, I felt like these middle 2 episodes when it was kind of the globe trotting and relic hunting, that stuff didn't quite work as well for me or engage me quite as much, where it just felt like we kind of got lost in the weeds maybe a little bit too much with too many things happening. So not a bad episode. Certainly ends with like a nice big finale where they're messing with the sky and everything like that and big consequences, but the one that probably engaged me the least. In 5th place, episode 6, Gods and Monsters. Now, this is a frustrating one for me because I think had they done this as 2 episodes, both of those episodes would have been placed pretty highly on this list. I didn't mind the idea of the finale or the plot lines that were involved in it. It just felt like this should have been 2 separate episodes. One all about the evil Egyptian god gaining power and becoming this big kaiju monster sucking the souls out of people. And then the other one about Layla bringing Mark back to life. And so you have kind of the resurrection episode with the villain kind of rising in power, and then you do a big cliffhanger, but you just allow all of that to breathe. You allow Mark to go and save Steven, but you do that over the course of the episode. And then episode 2 is our big slam bang finale, Moon Knight battling a bunch of thugs, and then a proper epilogue that kind of sends things off. But they crammed all of that into a single episode, for that matter, the shortest episode. I just thought that was too much. And so it felt like they just had to rush plot points and kind of, sometimes even they like skipped little bits, like they trimmed a section out to just get to the next thing that needed to happen. And that was frustrating. I kind of liked that it went full Power Rangers in the finale, and you had 2 gigantic Egyptian gods battling each other over the Great Pyramids while Moon Knight's in the city beating the crap out of people and stuff like that. I dug all of that. The other thing that bugged me about it, I didn't like that they did the third personality blackout to defeat our main villain. I just thought that was just such a strange choice, that that's the guy that we care about seeing defeated. You have that moment where our hero is defeated. He's gonna lose, and then it just literally cuts. And Layla's like, "What was that about, man?" And everybody's knocked out. That just seems like such a strange decision to choose to do that at that moment in time. I get why it was important to set up the post-credit scene. Dig that. No, not a problem with that. But doing it at that exact moment, I think was just the wrong time, the wrong way to do that. And so an episode that I didn't like that, but more importantly, I feel it should have been 2 episodes. In 4th place, episode 4, The Tomb. And I think this episode worked at being shocking, both in our lead character getting gunned down halfway through the episode and halfway through the show, And then, of course, where it goes in the last 15 minutes of this psych ward, and we're trying to figure out what on earth is going on. Is this what's really happening? Is that he's actually legitimately locked up crazy? Or is he someone trying to pry into his brain? Like, what exactly is going on here? But as I mentioned earlier, the relic hunting side of this show, I never fully connected with. The battling the bad guy, the intrigue of what on earth is going on, this complicated lead character. I dug that stuff and I dug the weirdness, but when it kind of goes full Indiana Jones and our lead characters who are just humans are running through pyramids, opening up Alexander the Great's coffin and stuff like that, that stuff, it just didn't interest me, and it just kind of felt a little bit much like this show crammed too many genres and too many different types of things into it that I couldn't resonate with all of them. And so I totally dug the whoa, what on earth is going on? Did he really just get shot? Wait, is this all in his head? Oh, okay, it's not in his head, but what is going on here? I love that stuff. But like I said, the tomb raiding parts of this show were probably the stuff where I kind of tuned out the most. In third place, episode 2, Summon the Suit. Now, this was a nice follow-up to the first episode. Episode 1 built all this intrigue about what on earth is going on with this guy and why is he blacking out? How did he beat those guys up? How did he end up in this whole other location? And what's going on at the museum at the end of it? Built all this great intrigue, and then this episode follows that up, not with giving full answers, but giving partial answers, filling us in just a little bit and paying it off, where you really get to see Moon Knight as well as Mr. Knight go into action. And because there was just enough of that tension building, enough delaying it from happening, when it does happen, it's very cool, it's very exciting. And that there are the two different suits, they get to play that for laughs. It adds a little bit of personality difference based off who's in control of the suit itself. And so I just thought it worked nicely, had a nice sense of humor to it, and kind of delivered what I was hoping this show would give us. Our runner-up, episode 1, The Goldfish Problem. Now, what this show did so well right out of the gate is kind of put you in this scenario where, like the lead character, you don't know what's going on. You have this guy that suddenly finds himself wrapped up in this big, gigantic adventure, and he's like, what on earth is this? And we're right there with him, asking those questions, trying to figure it out. And it just did a great job of building that intrigue. It felt a little bit like The Bourne Identity because of that, where you have this guy that seems to have a skill set and seems to be this adventure, but he doesn't know what that means or where it's coming from, while not being like The Bourne Identity at all in a different sense. It also manages to have a sense of humor to it with the way people interact with him and the way that he has these odd people seem to know him, but he doesn't know who they are, without feeling like some of the cheaper MCU humor that have been in a lot of the recent films. And so just dug the way that they slowly brought us into this world and made us as the audience wanting to know what's going on. Properly, slowly creating a world with mysteries that you actually want to be solved throughout the course of the show. So I thought the first episode absolutely did its job properly and got me excited to figure out what on earth was going on. But in first place, I'm going to go with episode 5, Asylum. Now, the next to last episode of the show turned out to be essentially an exposition dump, but because of the way this show was set up, where the whole thing was about what on earth is going on here? Raising these questions about who's this guy in Steven's head? Why is he like this? And then as it goes along, Mark seems to know more about what's going on. So what's the connection between the two of them? Why are the personalities starting to merge right now? What went on with Layla? Where did these powers come from? The whole show raises those questions, and you get to episode 5 and it finally answers them. And the answers are satisfying, but more importantly, they're heartbreaking. They're emotional. And they help you understand this character so much better and the tragedy that led him to this broken life that he has. And why is he doing the things that he's doing? Why is he behaving the way that he's behaving? All this trauma has led him to this point. And so while it's not an action-based episode, it's a Moon Knight episode without any Moon Knight. I think because it is so character-based and the answers actually work, I think this was the most satisfying episode for me that I think executed things the best and then just allowed Oscar Isaac to just knock it out of the park and show that he is a world-class actor. So it comes in at number 1. If you enjoyed this video, I've got more Marvel Disney Plus content. You can check it out right over there. Some rankings, episode reviews, all that fun stuff. Also, because Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is coming out this weekend, I'm going to have tons of MCU rankings over the next couple of weeks. Be sure to come back to check that out. Thank you so much for watching, and keep talking movies too much.